Hello everybody and welcome to the Women in BIM end of year webinar for 2021. My name's Vicky Reynolds. I'm the Global Vice Chair for Women in BIM and I'm going to be your chair today. So welcome very much and thank you for joining us. Apologies for the slightly late start. We had some audio issues with one of our presenters. Fingers crossed it's sorted, but if not, we might shuffle this agenda a little bit. We'll play it by ear and be as flexible as we can be. Hopefully you can see the agenda there. Yeah, that looks right. Excellent. And I'm assuming that you can see my webcam as well, although I can't see if you can see that, so I'm going on faith there. But as I said, I'm Vicky Reynolds. I'm the Global Vice Chair for Women in BIM, and I'll be doing our introduction today, followed by a little video from our gold sponsor Glider, a presentation from Henry Fenby-Taylor, the Head of Information Management at the Centre for Digital Built Britain. David Philp, hopefully audio issues permitting, will then be chatting to us about Women in BIM in Scotland and a couple of other exciting things. And we will then have a little fireside chat between Sarah Fox and Nino Tecvaleria, who are one of our mentee-mentor matches for 2021. Then we'll have a bit of a Q&A and we'll have a quiz. Was originally going to be led by Ruth, our engagement lead, but she's feeling a little bit under the weather today, so she's going to be the brains behind it in the background, and you get no respite from me today. I'm going to be reading out the questions and managing the quiz, but you'll hear a little bit more about that later on. So what we will do today is I just want to draw your attention to the chat function. Hopefully you can all see that on the main menu of GoToWebinar, and there's an option to send chat messages to the organisers and the panellists or to everybody. I'd really like to encourage you to use that to ask questions throughout the session. If you type them on there, I'll read them out for our panellists or our presenters at the right time, or equally if they're ready and raring to go and they see it in the chat, they might respond to you directly. So please use that instead of the questions option that I think you can also see, just because it's slightly more intuitive and easier to use, and I have a better view of it as well. So you've got more chance of your question being asked if it's in the chat function rather than the questions function. So I hope that's all nice and clear. So thank you so much to our 2021 sponsors. We have Glider BIM, our gold sponsor for the UK, and i3PT certification, who are our silver sponsor. And then we have Oricon, GHD, and Mott MacDonald, who are our sponsors for the APAC regions. And Glider have prepared a video for us today to explain a little bit about why they sponsor Women in BIM and what they do. So I'll press play here. Hopefully you can hear the audio and see everything all right. If there's any problems, just let me know in the chat, and I'll see if I can fix it at this end.
Good morning, my name is Stuart Bell. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing at Glider. We're gold sponsor. Of Women in BIM. Apologies that we can't be with you live during the program this morning, but we've done a little pre-record in the Glider Christmas Cafe. We'd like to applaud you firstly and advocate our support for fabulous work that you're doing, not only in recruiting young female talent into the industry, but also giving a forum and platform for some of the wonderful work that's taking place, being led by some highly talented, tenacious and driven women in the industry. And to that end, we'd like to give our public praise to Jane Dudson, one of our clients at DIO, the Defence Estates arm of the Ministry of Defence. Some sizable estate it is as well, 130,000 buildings across 4,000 establishments globally, and Jane is leading a significant initiative there that's seeking to overhaul standards, systems, processes and contracts that are now being driven through their supply chain as they look to take greater control of all of their built asset data through the capital phase, but also through the operational phase with their facilities management industry partners as well. So congratulations, Jane. You can see on the right hand side of Jane giving her first public speaker engagement last week, and the assembled crowd at Digital Construction Week asking lots of challenging but insightful questions at the end of the talk. So yeah, really well done. And then in our own business, some 30% of our workforce, we have some very talented ladies that are consulting or are information management practitioners supporting asset owners and contractors to deliver their change initiatives or deliver on their projects to attain their high quality information deliverables on their projects. So we're always keen to recruit new talent, and doubled in size over the past 12 months as well. So congratulations to our own team. So Glider, we're an information management consultancy and service provider that has also developed and deliver a common data environment, our Glider BIM solution. And we operate right across the asset life cycle, offering strategic consulting to major asset owners, helping them understand their organisation information requirements, and making sure they're well reflected and communicated through their exchange and asset information requirement documentation into their tier one suppliers, and in turn supporting those tier one suppliers, embedding into their project and design teams, offering them information management services, O&M handover information management services as well, including addressing some of the more difficult COVID deliverables that may be required on their projects. And that's certainly a growing trend, as mandated in the ISO 19650 standards, that public sector and more ambitious and digitally mature private sector clients are driving towards as well. And we operate and have worked successfully over the past 5 years on some significantly sized projects delivering enterprise change initiatives and enterprise licensed platforms of our Glider BIM CDE into a number of organisations that have got a distributed asset portfolio and estate, as well as onto some significant high value and complex projects where clients have seen the benefits of procuring highly structured data to support their ongoing operational phase. So our Glider BIM platform is all about taking that traditional disaggregated and legacy document data, combining that with structured O&M data or COBie data deliverables in their open standards, so that we're moving away from those traditional dusty archives to that world of smart connected data, and making sure that not only are we giving fingertip control to the stakeholders in the operational teams that need access to information, but also making sure there's a clear flow of data into their operational systems, their CAPM, their building operating systems, their building management systems as well. And Glider BIM as a platform is all about data assurance and making sure that that well communicated need through the exchange information, asset information requirements is actually captured at the correct points, the data drops that are governed on a particular contract, and at practical completion, making sure that that is tested, it's quality assured, its progress in terms of information delivery is tracked across the project all the way through to the point of handover. And then when that building or estate is in its operational use phase, making sure that that data framework asset information model is connected where appropriate to those downstream systems that feed off that data and need the lifeblood of trusted, consistent and common data to drive them. So there's building operating systems and the CAPM systems. We have 4 modes of deployment. So we deploy as a traditional CDE to suppliers, to contractors. So that design, review, approval, collaboration work, low contract communication, RFIs. complex handover information requirements. And then for asset owners, that single CV that supports not only project information, but then maps onto their asset breakdown structure and hierarchy and gives them a clear view when they're navigating into their assets, however that asset breakdown structure sits across their infrastructure or building projects, where they can navigate not only to traditional documents, but through an enriched model, they can get access to that core underlying data. And what's key is that we support those friction points and we drive efficiency into the handover information and making sure that 100% data quality is received into the asset owner world. And then for those more forward-thinking clients and those digitally mature clients, they're seeing Glider BIM as their digital twin enabler, and through integration with CAFM and building operating systems, etc., we can provide that federated single view of truth, which is the nirvana for a lot of organisations. And we're doing some fantastic work with not only with DIO but Deutsche Bank springs to mind currently, and linking in with a variety of systems, including a central data lake with business intelligence reporting, giving a whole dashboard of scorecard reporting of their asset performance. So we're all about building a better world, powered by knowledge, driven by data. We're also about data governance, and 99% isn't in our vocabulary. And so to carry the Glider deliverables passport means you get good data for operational use. And with that, that's my gift for Christmas and our gift from Glider. Wishing you all a very Merry Christmas and a bountiful New Year. Thanks very much.
Excellent. That's a message from our sponsors, Glider there. And oh, there we go. We also want to say a huge thank you to Costella Palmer Communications. Marie and the team there have just been a massive help to us over the past 12 months, help with our website, content development. Basically anything that you see presented about women in BIM has come from them or has been helped by them in the great work that they do. And we have our core team here. As you can see, Rebecca DeChico, our founder and chair. I'm actually stepping down from the global vice chair position as of today, actually. But I just want to emphasize that I'm not moving away from the team or the organization altogether. I'll still be around as an advocate and an ambassador. The only reason that I'm leaving is time management on my own part rather than anything else. So I'm still happy to answer any questions and to do any signposting for Women in BIM. Equally, we have Nicole, who's our global manager, office manager, administrator, and just general make things happen person. Nicole can be reached at info@womeninbim.org. We have Jenny Barrett, our global education lead, Gagana Stikova, our database manager, Ruth, our engagement lead, Julia, who is our regional lead coordinator for the UK and Europe, and Michelle, regional lead coordinator for South America, and Lindsay Pritchard Fox, our regional lead coordinator for the USA and Canada. All of these amazing women can be approached with their first name at womeninbim.org. Or equally, if you are unsure who you want to contact, info@womeninbim.org is manned by Nicole at all times, and your message will get to the right person. Who are we? We exist as Women in BIM to encourage and support, attract and promote, and advance and retain women in BIM and digital construction. Why? For three very good reasons. We're in the midst of a global critical skills shortage in digital construction, but also in construction generally. So what better place to look for more resource and more professionals than an area where we're massively underrepresented, which is women. And women and ethnic minorities are still, as I say, underrepresented, but also being paid less than their male counterparts. That's something we really want to challenge. And also, last but not least, diversity across organizations and projects is proven to proven to support greater innovation, creativity and profitability. That's documented very well across a number of different papers and reports, and we can provide access to those if anybody's interested. We have grown massively over the past 12 months. I won't read the figures out because we started a little bit late, but you can see there that through every portal that we have grown in members and engagement. And on our website, you can find all of our webinars, past webinars, and all of our podcasts that we've recorded. We're going to be recording another one actually this afternoon with Dave Philp, who's one of our amazing guests today, and Elaine Lewis about leadership in BIM and digital construction. So always bringing out new content, and there's a real varied list of topics to go through and to listen to as well. Now, we have Women in BIM regional leads across 51 regions across 30 different countries, and that is growing week by week. The blue dots represent where we have regional leads. If you can't see a blue dot or a regional lead for your area, then please get in touch with us, because we'd love to hear your recommendations for people in the area, or if you're interested in taking the role yourself, that would be fantastic. We'd love to talk to you. Equally, if you can see a blue dot and you don't know who your regional lead is, go to our website, womeninbim.org, and check out who it is so that you can get in touch and we can build those relationships and grow those networks. We've done a huge amount of content creation over the past 12 months all across the world, and we're hoping to do more and reach more regions with that kind of content over the next 12 months. We've had our first series of non-English events over 2021, which was amazing and very well responded to, and so we'd like to carry on and build on that for 2022. And last but not least, our mentor scheme, which kicked off in 2020, went extremely well in 2021. We're about to start our third year in 2022, which actually kicks off today. But just to show how much we've grown, you can see that the number of mentee applicants and the number of countries that we're represented in has grown massively since the first year we started. Interestingly enough, mentor applicants, the number has not risen. And so if you're sat there thinking, you know what, maybe I'd like to be a mentor, maybe you're thinking, I'm not sure if I'm fully qualified or if I'm the right person. Well, you know what, if that's the case, get in touch with us and we'll be able to help you either bridge that skills gap or talk to you about what you might be able to bring as a possible mentor, or whether you'd be more appropriate for the mentee bracket. We're always looking for people to be involved, and as you can see by these numbers, we have far more mentees than we have mentors. So we'd really like to boost those numbers of mentors. And that then leads to each year a series of unmatched applicants. These are people who are fantastic, have applied to be mentees, but for various reasons we haven't been able to find exactly the right mentor. We host a series of events and workshops for those unmatched mentees throughout the year. And here are some examples of the topics that we covered in 2021. And as I said, the mentee program for 2022 kicks off today. There's an application period that runs till February, and it's really important that we hear from as many people as possible, both as mentees and mentors, so that we can keep the program going from strength to strength. And that is going to be supported moving forward by our wonderful new core team member, Natalia Oliveira, who will be taking the lead for our mentor program and pushing it forward throughout 2022. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to stop talking. I'm sure that's a relief for everybody, and I'm going to pass on to our keynote, Henry Fenby-Taylor, who is the Head of Information Management for the Centre of Digital Built Britain. Henry, if you'd like to pop your video on, there we go, and I'll just give you control. 1 second.
Thank you very much, Vicky, and I think I'd join everyone in saying thank you for all the work that you do for Women in BIM and the work of Women in BIM. It's been a journey ever since I first heard about it. It's come a long way. And
We have definitely grown over the past couple of years. Yeah, it's been incredible. And thank you very much. You should have control now, Henry.
okay, I do. I can see buttons saying show my screen. I have just hit the submit button on the Become a Mentor. Meant to do that ages ago, never got around to it. So I've done it now, and as there's a bit of a push, I'm going to also speak to some of my colleagues and make sure that we're seeing if we can bump those numbers up so that we can get more people sharing our experiences inside the built environment. Okay, let's have a crack at showing you. I'm going to give you a little presentation on what's been going on inside the Construction Innovation Hub and the Centre for Digital Built Britain, and a little bit of a look forwards to what we're doing, and then some kind of overall predictions of where I think we're going to be ending up in the near future. So let me see if it is sharing. Yeah, of course it would share that screen, wouldn't it? Momento prego. These are the joys. There we go. I can do monitor 2. Excellent. There we go. So the future of the built environment. I apologize to those of you that came to Digital Construction Week, as some of this will be somewhat familiar, but I have incorporated a number of presentations from a number of people who've been working with us to show where we're at and where we're going and why the built environment is an exciting industry to be a part of. So we have a vision about collective innovation and bringing the built environment together to effectively tackle the climate crisis, and we need a lot more skills and capabilities inside the built environment to achieve those, and we need more worldviews. The built environment has sometimes a rather negative reputation around not just the country but the world, and we need to do more to improve that, and that means being more inclusive and hearing all of the voices and lifting up people's voices. So we have a vision to change that, but there is a very strong sustainability agenda to that, which is very important to us. Do check this out on the internet. We need to act now so that we can change the world for the better, and that means adapting our approach for the built environment to ensure that we are creating a sustainable world that understands how our systems integrate, but also how our processes and our people and our governance interact. And that's been something that's been developing over time. So how are we going to do this? So we need to be integrating more, we need to be digitalizing more, building more capacity and capabilities, and having a coordinated values-driven approach. So these are the change of emphasis. I think we've been very much focused on, from a value perspective, on the economic value, but now we need to be much more socially minded. We need to be more mindful of the impact of climate change, and we need to incorporate those into our decision-making processes for procuring and managing and maintaining our built environment, so that it isn't just responding to kind of this endless need to consume, but we're actually moving towards something that is going to work for the long term. There are some very exciting work coming through from the Transforming Infrastructure Performance Roadmap that is going to be integrating more data into policy-making decisions and governance through services for the built and natural environment. And it's really a huge area of growth. Data science in the built environment is relatively niche at the moment, and some may argue that information management and BIM is relatively niche, but we are becoming the mainstream. And I think the next evolution of that is to start, we've created all this amazing, structured, useful data to then use it, to then work with client organizations, and organizations like Glider BIM are on the leading edge of that sort of work. So that's going to be a very exciting kind of area of improvement. But I do want to share some of the exciting bits of work that we have done in terms of those next steps. We've been on several digital twin journeys. Lots more information about this is going to be coming out soon. So our digital twin journeys are reflections, synopses of the amazing research that's been going on inside the Centre for Digital Build Britain, in collaboration with the Construction Innovation Hub, to have a bottom-up approach. So we have the National Digital Twin Programme, which is, of course, bringing together all these amazing data sets and minds and big organizations to create something that's really going to absolutely revolutionize how the country operates, in line with our values. But at the same time, we're also working on these kind of more bottom-up. So on one side here, we have this kind of sense, classify, refine, decide approach. So we're looking at what's going on, we're trying to understand that, and there's a process, there's an iterative process of developing digital twins that also includes, in the center panel there, understanding how your users interact with your services. So that's in the example of a smart hospital, and someone who is sight impaired accessing a smart hospital in the future, really creating a much better user journey, literally in this case, for the built environment. And then also taking the tools and the systems that we have already developed on the right hand side here and just really turning the dial up to 11 on those in terms of more accurate sensing, lower cost, greater breadth. So in this example, you can actually track user movement through the, is it the temperature? It is the temperature. They are so sensitive that they can actually monitor movement through the space by temperature alone, which is very exciting. Lexicon project, a lot of work around data dictionaries and standardizing our information has been done and is going to really help us base our decisions for implementing the most sustainable, viable products in the built environment in the future. And that it requires a lot of bringing people together, and that's a very important piece of work. On the skills aspect, the digital capabilities work that we've been doing has been of paramount importance because it's very difficult to grow your digital capabilities if you are in academia delivering a specific course. You're delivering an architecture, a landscape architecture course, and you need to find space to incorporate digital capabilities. Or you're an organization that employs 5 or thousands of people. You need to be able to quickly and easily decide how best to approach the implementation of digital skills, because as I'm sure many of you will have experienced on a day-to-day basis, the lack of digital capabilities can be a huge blocker to implementing best practice and pushing us all forwards towards our objectives. We've also been working with a number of client groups, including the Home Nations Working Group and the Local Authority Working Group, and also the Buildings Client Group. The cartoon here is lovingly created by our friend Janine Gavagan in Ministry of Justice about the case study that they completed, describing how they are moving from the capital to operational phase. And the Ministry of Justice has long been a world leader in this space, and we're really pleased that we have such a great client organization sharing with us the work that they do to make the built environment a better place. Couldn't not say something about international. There is a very clear need, and today of all days, there is no clearer need. Let me just quickly switch over and show you this. Today, still time to register. At 2 o'clock, the BIM Global Network is being launched. There are huge opportunities. A lot of the BIM knowledge that lives, around this virtual table is in demand, and the opportunities for growing your network and growing your clients fundamentally is available to you if you get involved in the BIM Global Network. It starts today at 2 o'clock UTC, aka whatever the time is in the UK. I don't know if we're not on British summertime anymore, surely. But nevertheless, that is a very important kind of a thing for you to bear in mind, that we are here to help and grow trade internationally. Some work very close to David Phillips' heart, so perhaps I won't go over it too much because I don't want to steal his thunder, is the work on the government soft landings that has really done a lot to improve the measurement of sustainability in built environment projects. Now we need to improve. We need to improve in a number of very specific and actionable areas to make our industry more inclusive, to make our society more inclusive and more sustainable. So we are working with government agencies to help define how we should be governing the future of the built environment. We're working with them to define how, like I said, the value-based decision making needs to be undertaken in terms of making sure that social and sustainability aspects are effectively measured and given equal credence to the financial aspects. We in the BIM community have set up a lot of the foundations for developing a truly data-led built environment, and that is really one of the great next steps for us and for our client organizations and for the supply chain, is coming at this at a much more system level approach so we can really manage with data effectively. And that is all built on information management, which has done a lot, but I'm sure we all know there's still a lot to do. And we need to really focus on the built and natural environment together to understand what it is that we're doing this for, what it is that we're tangibly impacting. And it's been said several times by me, by Vicky, by others, and it will be said again, skills is a huge area that really needs improving, and there's a lot of work to do to make sure that we've all got those skills, but we also know where to go to keep growing those, and what work there is to do to raise the skills of those around us and how we can help with that. So there's a lot there. There was a lot there, but we're on this journey together. We've all got our part to play, and I think that if we can all be optimistic and hopeful and work together and be inclusive, then we can have a better built environment. And I think there's no better way to do that than by supporting and promoting women in BIM, for example. So there you go. That was a bit of a rundown of my thoughts and views of what's been going on. I'd be interested to get some feedback from Vicky and have a quick chat about what I skimmed over there.
No, wonderful. Thank you so much, Henry. That's great. And we'll be jumping on to Dave in a second, audio permitting. But then after that, we're going to hopefully have a couple of questions for the two of you. I have been told that some people are struggling to get questions into the chat function. So I am now closely monitoring the questions function. If you have anything for either of our speakers or for me or Women in BIM, drop them into the questions area and or the chat area, and either way we'll find them and we'll make sure they're asked.
I will answer that one question that I've seen about having the slides. I will certainly share my slides. That'll be available.
Fantastic, excellent. And also if you could share a link to the BIM Global Network, and we'll post
I will do that now. Yes, I've got one ready for you. Okay, all right, thanks Vicky.
Thanks so much, Henry. Let's see if we have got audio and video from Dave. Dave, are you there?
Let's test it. Vicky, can you hear me?
Oh, fantastic. We can hear you. Yes, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So it's good to know that COVID can't stop me and audio issues can't stop me this morning. So that's maybe a good thing.
Excellent. Oh, fantastic. Okay, great. Well, with some serious relief here, I'm going to pass over to you to discuss all things women in BIM, and I think a couple of extra bonus areas you're going to be discussing as well for us today.
Yeah, can you make me a presenter if that's okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. So good morning, everyone, and I hope you're well. I'm just waiting to get somewhere where we are. 2 seconds, pick the right screen. There we go, Vicky. You can tell us if that's the right screen you're seeing just now?
We have lots of screens going on now.
Okay.
We have your
Right.
GoToWebinar screen, a Word screen, and one of your web pages.
Hopefully this is it.
If you click on the little, there we go. That's perfect.
Okay, that's free. That's me out now. So everything else should be fine. So that's fantastic. So first of all, thank you everyone for the invite to speak today. And Henry, I must admit that I thought your presentation was fantastic, and I think it's drawn a lot of the key points together with there. So first off, who am I? I'm David Philp. I'm Director for Digital Consulting, Strategy and Innovation at AECOM. I'm also one of the impact directors at the Construction Innovation Hub. And apologies a bit croaky today because I am suffering from COVID, so it's been a bit of a struggle this week, but really delighted to join today. But I think my most important role, especially in the context today as well, is I'm chair of the Scottish region for Women in BIM, which has been a complete joy. And we've really been lucky enough up in Scotland, in terms of our region, to actually have been part of COP26. And that's been an amazing journey. And again, it's not just about a conference, but it's the fact we're also now the steward of the Glasgow Plan for another 12 months. And I think, if anything, having the conference up here in Scotland was just a hugely timely reminder, and Henry showed it in his slides as well. We're not really talking as much about construction. We're talking about a system of systems-based built environment. And I think it was also a reminder that our built environment touches every aspect of our daily lives. Modern, secure built environment, it's going to be critical importance to achieving, amongst other things, climate resilience. And it was amazing being able to go along to COP26 and see lots of people, especially from Generation Z, that are wanting to make real change happen. And where better a place to do it within our built environment. And I think what we are seeing, especially in Women in Scotland, our built environment, is a real pivotal moment. And we know that other women BIM members as well, and regions around the world, are wrestling with an unprecedented global shock that knows no boundaries. As I know myself now, coronavirus plus other new constraints and value drivers are profoundly changing how we do things within our built environment. I think it's fair to say, a bit like me, hopefully we'll recover, but nobody knows how long that's going to take. And I think the only certainty is there's going to be change. I mean, I've been in industry for quite a few years now, but I know the change we're going to see is going to be big. And I think, if anything, we're seeing how technology, and as Henry mentioned, the work around information management is going to become increasingly capable through data science and analytics. And I think we'll see a backdrop of a new era, especially what we've seen in Scotland, is where we need to keep a lid on emissions, not just for our planet, but for future generations as well. And it's one of the biggest things that we are seeing just now, especially within our region. That's just some of the images we had from up in Scotland and some of the things we were lucky enough to support. The images you're seeing just now, the main one, is from the Construction Scotland Innovation Centre, which we're now thinking about how to converge digital with advanced manufacture. And this is the next generation of school designs, and you can see it was designed within a BIM model. But the big thing is how it's starting to get produced now for advanced manufacture, using, in this case, indigenous materials, how we've used a cross-laminated timber within there as well. But it's showing how we can start to prototype and configure using predefined kits of parts and platform construction systems as well. And it was amazing how many people were taken with that. The opportunities it's now looking in terms of advanced manufacture and factory-based jobs as well, which were quite exciting. And I think, I was lucky enough to be able to speak at the COP, you can see in the bottom right there. And I think one of the things that, it particularly reminded me is, we need clear focus. We think about doing digital, but we actually need to think about making change happen. and think more and more about the science of interventions and making interventions in a built environment that are going to achieve strategic outcomes. One thought, and I think this is a massive one, you know, as an industry, we're accountable for 40% of our CO2 emissions. So you think of it, we're either a massive brake or a massive accelerator in terms of decarbonisation within there as well. So we've got a massive opportunity to improve resilience and decarbonisation. And we want to make sure, especially in Women in BIM Scotland, that we can show especially new entrants that are coming in. And actually digital is going to be about climate resilience, and there's great opportunities to make real change happen with there, to accelerate and reduce that 40% of the emissions that we make within there, and how data insight is going to help us. And one of the big things we know with Women in BIM Scotland that we're going to look on is how we decarbonise existing retained estate, and how data and information is going to give better insight in terms of level of performance, and how do we retrospectively make more resilience in changing existing conditions as well, which is hugely important in terms of what we're doing. And I thought, you know, excuse me, COP26, which is a great way to get young people engaged with the journey. That was my daughter, that was her view on COP26. It was interesting, you know, did we both have different views on things through different lens of the telescope? And, you know, I think we found a lot of harmonisation and common ground within there, but you can see young people, just that desire to make and accelerate and have change happen, the energy they've got is fantastic. And we need to make sure that young people such as my daughter Sophie, she's doing her modern day apprenticeship in civil engineering, are going to come in. She's got an interest in Women in BIM, but make sure that, you know, she sees a future within her built environment within there that's going to be inclusive in all we're doing as well, which is hugely important. And one of the big things that we believe to make this happen, and Henry showed this, and gosh, I wish they had this at the start of my career, it's a new business model. A business model that's focused on the built environment as a system of systems. And it's got alignment both top down and bottom up. And I think one of the things in the industry we've been really, really bad at is having big ideas and getting people to buy into it and understand their roles. And I think one of the things we're seeing now with the transforming infrastructure performance and its roadmap to 2030, it's got a clear line of sight. Right at the top, you can see trying to achieve societal outcomes, that's the UN sustainability goals, how we can start to think about decision making around about it that are value based, think about key decisions, but also from the bottom up for a systems of system approach. What's the data, what's information, what is the federated digital twinning systems that are going to be required for there? And I think that's hugely important in terms of what we do. But actually to do this, we need to start to think more and more about, you know, how do we make the business model change? And as Henry said as well, how do we improve industry capacity and capability through better people, culture and diversity? And it was interesting, I was chairing a panel at Digital Construction Week, and I think one of the biggest ones I saw was one I was chairing on people, change and culture. And I think people realise to make this happen, to make the change, that's got to be our #1 goal. It's not the technology, it's not the data. We need to get the values, the behaviour, the people and the culture right within there and be able to improve our talent pool of all pillars of the built environment, especially the SMEs as well. We often think about the big tier ones, but we need to make sure we do that. But, you know, for us, it's been an amazing journey. We saw it when we did in Scotland as well. And I think, if anything, it was an amazing youth conference. And I think it gave us time to reflect on our future scenarios as well, which was fantastic. Just a bit of update, you know, what are we doing in Scotland then? #1, I think we're growing rapidly. I think in the last 8 months, we've grown more than we ever have, especially in terms of number of new entrants. And I think this is something Vicky and I talked about. One of the things that opened the floodgates, when we stopped talking about BIM and started talking more and more about, you know, inclusivity within that sort of digital context. And we welcome anyone. And that means, you know, it's not, BIM's still a key component, but actually no matter if you're using digital applications, a painter and decorator, digital twinning, it doesn't really matter. You know, no matter where your entry point is, you've got a home in Women in BIM. And we really, really want to encourage SMEs, especially micro SMEs, into our community as well. At the same size, we're really lucky that we've got Scottish Government, it's got a representative on the group. We also have the support of our Scottish Future Trust. And we've also got key clients on board. We're lucky enough that we've got Lee Sykes from NHS Scotland, who's talking about, you know, the importance of not just the new capital projects, but retained estate as well. We're also speaking to Historic Environment Scotland in terms of importance of retained estate, but also heritage and historic buildings and how we get historians and that involved within our journey as well. And we're planning maturity measurement tool and hackathon for 2022, and our community is increasing to grow. The image on the right hand side actually was from our meeting, gosh, it had to be that way 3 weeks ago on Friday. That was our last physical meeting, and big thank you to Diane Ramage at Kepi Architects. This is their wonderful office. Believe it or not, it was a church for the deaf in Glasgow. It's just an amazing building, and it was lovely to get back and actually, see everyone within there as well. And I think it brought a real good hope as well. I think at our last meeting as well, we have got a lot of faith in terms of where we're going, and we think that sustainability is going to be a key part of our journey. And we within Scotland are already witnessing a built environment that's been highly reconfigured, to promote, human well-being is key part of what we're doing. We really want to encourage the wider uptake of digital construction within the built environment, and to make sure that it's aimed at things like decarbonisation, but other interventions as well. And as Henry and others have mentioned, one of our key goals is to make sure we have a workforce that's educated in digital skills to ensure a thriving green information economy and civic engagement. So our view in Scotland is the need for sustainable infrastructure for a future of our planet has never been so important. And we in Scotland have never felt as much energy to help achievement through our Women in BIM community. So hopefully, Vicky, my microphone has managed to stand up to this, along with my croaky COVID voice, and we've managed to muddle our way through it. But listen, everyone, thank you for listening. And if I want to do one thing, it's just a big thank you out to, not just all the senior team, but it's the people that are doing, just all the amazing stuff on the ground within Scotland as well. All the unsung heroes that, are very quiet about what we're doing. Not everybody likes to, do the jazz hands and shout what we're doing. There's an amazing amount of work that's going on beyond the surface and Women in BIM. The people that are doing all these things that are all, and it's a collective effort, I think, that's going to, help us. So.
Amazing, and I can't agree enough with that. I'd really like to welcome actually Henry back just for a second. We've only got one question, but I think it's an important one. But also, hi. Just before we start, I just want to really emphasize the fact that both Henry and Dave are incredible advocates and allies of Women in BIM. Both have worked for many years with us as an organisation to help us push our agenda forward, to increase the community, and essentially just are always there supporting and driving. So thank you very much to both of you for that, and it's a pleasure to have you here today. And the question that we have had through from Martin is, we're speaking a lot about the skills gap, but do we have a strategy for resolving it? Can we change that without working closely with state institutions like universities and agencies? What should be the first step in your opinion? And I'll open that up to either of you, whichever wants to start.
Yeah, sorry, Henry, do you want to kick off? I see you.
I'm happy for you to kick off. I opened my mouth, but that's fine.
Okay, yeah. Number one is, I tell you, the amount of things that I've seen going on in the last week has been World Skills Day. It's been amazing. See the amount of effort that people put into these. But yeah, I mean, it's hardly reported, isn't it? I mean, the amount of effort and skills that were, especially by their further education colleges, is amazing. The commitment people are putting in. And I was speaking to the team in Kazakhstan. That they go to special diets for this sort of thing. It's taken so seriously at a national level, the skills debate. And I think that the reality is there's lots of great work going on, especially at further education colleges. As I mentioned, my daughter's doing her modern day apprenticeship. People don't really seem to care unless it's at a university level in terms of what's going on. So my view is simple. We need to get people thinking about the built environment, and that's not just the young people, but their carers and whoever, that they start to see a built environment as a real career. They see it from the earliest days of primary education right the way through within there. They see it as a true profession within there. But also at the same time, you don't have to go for university. You can do it as an apprenticeship. There's different routes within there to do it, and we really need to take much more of an emphasis on it. I think we also need to, surface the great stuff that's going on. I mean, the stuff I saw that's coming out of Motherwell College last week, folk working through the night, with increasing their skills, the self-learning, I thought was amazing. But yet, how many folk know about it? with her. So I think we need to raise awareness of it, but not just in terms of, you know, our degree levels within there as well. We need to show how young apprentices on job sites are doing amazing in terms of, you know, digital capture, setting out within there as well. And obviously the work such as, you know, Dex doing Alison Watson has been amazing as well. We need to highlight these things more. So number one to me is simple, is we need to raise awareness early as possible of the opportunities, especially at the early stages, not just waiting till folk are thinking about what subjects are we taking at school.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really good point there, Dave. I think in terms of those first steps, I think from our perspective, we've taken that with the digital capabilities framework, and there's one for kind of digital skills and also for the national digital twin. So that's been that's kind of the first step for us in setting a standard for what those skills are, because it's very difficult to have a sector-wide conversation because people keep going down the BIM hole. To be perfectly honest, we end up talking about BIM a lot when we're trying to also speak to asset managers who's have a different worldview, or GIS professionals who have a different worldview, and people are involved in different parts. So having that standardized approach is really important. Things like Plan for Jobs, the Department for Education have put money into some very interesting digital capability. I can't remember what they're called, boot camps. That was what it was. So they're doing this work, and it's crazy that they aren't as well known. So I think there's a lot of work to maybe just communicate better, like Dave said, about what is going on, because there is movement in that direction. But then also for the future, we're working with academic institutions and also businesses as well. Businesses and professional institutions need to come together over this, because there is a common problem across the whole built environment. A lot of people said to us when we were talking about early career digital capabilities, they were also saying, well, what about everybody else's digital capabilities? They need kind of work as well. So I think there's a need to keep pushing this at the government level, but also for universities, but also further education colleges, to work more closely with professional institutions and large businesses who have huge training budgets, so that we can get a more kind of aligned and consistent set of capabilities into the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe one other thing I'd say as well, if I can, Vicky, I think we've also got to make sure that we give equal balance to skills and knowledge. There's a lot of young people that I speak to go, what do you want to do? I want to be a director. Okay, what about the skills? Well, being passionate. And I remember, when I started my journey, I mean, maybe I didn't do as well with my exams as I should have at school within there. Henry, I think the term is work shy fop, but I'd done an HND first in construction management and engineering before I'd done my degree. Now, as part of that course, I learned what a total station was and how to set out. I spent, the coldest days in a place in Scotland called Shotts. So at -5, learning in a field how to set out a roundabout. I thought, why am I doing this? I want to be a construction manager. And I remember I went into the degree go, and it was after about, I can remember, 6 months, and we got on a secondment. There's 2 of us that had done an HND, and we were told by the main contractor, Balfour Beatty, to go and set out a roundabout. 2 of us had done the HND and went away quite happily and set out a roundabout. The other 18 had heard the theory of what a total station did, had the theory of there, but couldn't go and set it out. And it was interesting, the folk that had the balance of skills and knowledge, I think, went on to do more. So I think we need to make sure that we get the balance of not just becoming a knowledge-based economy, but make sure that folk have got the skills. Henry mentioned data science. I mean, it's funny at AECOM, did you know our chief executive is learning Python programming?
Great.
I mean, is that not just amazing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You think if the person at the top is setting the barometer and saying, hey, this is great stuff, and I'm actually doing it, you think everybody else suddenly, and I think that shows if you've got a C-suite person that's willing to do that as well, everybody else is going, wow, it's part of our tool base. We've got to learn these as well, sort of thing. So, yeah.
It's really interesting, actually. When I was at school, construction was for the naughty boys. The kids that couldn't concentrate in class were sent out to do bricklaying. And so I had it in my head for a long time that construction was the industry you ended up in if you weren't good at anything else. And then after trying a few other industries and just being bored, disinterested, I found myself accidentally in a construction environment, and it was nothing like I had been taught to believe it was. It was exciting, it was interesting. And now when I say to people I work in construction, I always then go on to say, and this is my job, this is my role, and isn't it cool? Because I think that day-to-day education as well, with just people, rather than just saying I do BIM or I work in construction, it's those conversations with your family and your friends and the kids in your family and the carers and the adults that sort of slowly changes that perception as well. I've just realised we could talk for hours, but we do have an agenda to stick to. So I just want to say thank you so much to Henry and Dave once again. You've both been amazing, fascinating presentations, and thank you for taking the time to answer our question as well so extensively. I'm going to ask you both to give us a wave goodbye and turn off the camera and the sharing and the microphone, and we're going to pass on now to Sarah and Nino. So I'm going to make myself the presenter again. There we go. And have we got Nino? Excellent. So Sarah and Nino are a pair of mentee mentors from 2021, and they're going to talk a little bit about the journey, what it's meant, and their experiences. So I'll pass over now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vicky. So I'm Sarah Fox. I run my own business, but I've also historically been a construction lawyer, so I've worked for big corporations. So I kind of applied to be a mentor because I felt that I probably had something to help the next generation of women in the construction area. So Nino, please introduce yourself and explain why you wanted to be a mentee.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me on the panel. I'm Nino Takparelia. I'm a BIM manager in facilities management, and BIM is a fairly new concept in facilities management, but it is fast growing, fast evolving, and I am the only person in a BIM role currently in my department, and as such I wanted meaningful guidance and mentorship from a BIM informed professional that I was naturally not able to get at work because there's no one else in a BIM role. So yeah, that's it.
So what went well during the mentoring journey that you've had?
I think the things that have gone well for us is the fact that the sessions are structured and focused sessions. We meet it's from 45 minutes to an hour per session, and I have different topics that I want to address each session. We are, I think, almost over halfway through. It's out of 6 sessions in total. We're going to have our 4th session soon. But yeah, I think the thing that has gone well is the fact that it's just very focused, and we just address the things that I want to address, and then walk away with a wealth of knowledge that you give me.
So yeah, so it's interesting because that reflects. So one of the challenges with a previous mentee, it wasn't as structured. We didn't have such regular meetings, and she didn't necessarily come with a topic. And Nino's been really clear that she's come with a topic that's been important. So she's kind of done her prep, and she's looked at what we've done during each session. That I think that has been really helpful, and has really helped the process. But I've learned a lot also from my mentees, and I think that's been really interesting because one of my goals was really to give back to. But also to learn, because sometimes it's difficult to look back on what you have done in your career and what you've learned, some of which has been, skills and knowledge, and some of it's been kind of accidental learning. And to be able to kind of put that wealth of experience and help someone else was basically the only reason I signed up, because, you know, it's not that I had nothing else to do in my diary, but I thought there was people that I could help. So how did you find the COVID situation? How did that affect our mentoring?
So to be honest, I don't think COVID has had much impact. I don't know how you feel, but I don't think COVID has had much impact on our mentorship or on our sessions. I would say perhaps one of the things is that obviously we have had virtual meetings, so that might have been the case anyway. And also, I guess, Sarah's understanding that things are very slow moving on my side because of COVID, so kind of matching the session scheduling with that, and yeah, so to make sure that we get the most out of it.
So do you have any specific goals for the mentor process that you haven't had met, or are they all so far?
They have, so there is nothing that I would do differently. We haven't quite finished yet, but I think the goal has been to address some of the topics that I wanted addressing. Like I said, with someone, with a BIM informed professional who has had lots of experience, you know, in their career, and kind of best equip me with tools and knowledge to how to approach some of the opportunities that might arise in your career, but also some of the complex cases and how to deal with those things as well. And it's not necessarily, it hasn't been telling me exactly how to do something or like doing something for me, obviously. And we haven't sometimes even got into the very specifics of the thing that we're discussing, but it's just, yeah, just sharing that knowledge and expertise that you have to how to best tackle some of the things that come across our way. So,
Yeah, and I think that was one of my kind of bits of reticence of being a women in BIM mentor, because I'm not a BIM professional, and you know, I can't answer the BIM technical questions and all that kind of stuff, but I'm, you know, I'm aware of the language, aware of the you know, nature of BIM. So I would encourage people who aren't steeped in BIM or consider themselves to be BIM experts still to be mentors for women in BIM, because I think there's lots of other things that we've talked about that haven't been about ISO 19650 or BIM or tasks or specific, so really useful. And one of the things I did do was put Nino in touch with my previous mentee, because I think they had quite a lot in common. Having listened to both of them, I thought that actually they could probably help each other more as a peer-to-peer network than I could help because of my role. So do you want to continue the mentoring after the formal sessions are finished, Nino?
I think definitely continue the relationship, of course. I think, I mean, again, mirroring to what you said, it's so useful to connect with people, even if they're from different kind of sectors. It's so useful and enriching to connect with people and share that knowledge and skills and expertise, and especially with people who have had much more time in their careers and a lot more established. And I remember we first had like a test session that we set up just to make sure that we were the best match, and you were very honest and you said, look, I'm not a BIM professional, but I know a lot, and etc. And by the end of the session, I mean, it was only about 15 or 20 minutes, but by the end of the session, I was like, no, yes, I want this to carry on. And you were like, well, do you want to wait until tomorrow and give me the answer? I was like, no, I want it. Because it was that even that 20 minutes of conversation was so useful to speak to somebody. And so yeah, definitely the mentorship has been extremely beneficial and useful so far, but also you have helped me to connect with other people that has been equally just really constructive and effective in terms of sharing experience from different sectors. And also women in BIM has enabled me to do that as well. I've met more people, and when you come from somewhere where you're the only person doing BIM, and I think probably there are more people who can relate to me in terms of there's probably a lot of people who are alone in a BIM role in companies who are just starting out in kind of like implementing BIM, and to connect with different people that WEEP has allowed me to do is just hugely beneficial.
So apart from all the things you've already outlined, is there anything else you'd add to anyone thinking of becoming a mentee?
So I think, I mean, yes, absolutely. I think anyone at any stage in their careers can use a mentor. And I think there can be many reasons why. It could be something, a specific complex situation that you're going through at work and you need some mentorship. And also sometimes there may not be an environment at work where you feel you can ask for support or mentorship. And I think this kind of mentorship is really important for that. And like I said, I think there may be people who can relate to my experience where they are the only people in a BIM role. And so I think for all these reasons, it can be quite tricky to navigate, especially alone. And I think especially if you are just starting out in your career. So I think it is hugely helpful and a great opportunity to have a mentor who can give you that support and meaningful guidance.
Thank you. And I'd say as a mentor, I think I've been mentored by Nino as much as she's been mentored by me. So I don't think you need to have 25 years experience, grey hair, you know, a pension, your booster jab and everything else to count as sufficiently qualified to be a mentor. I think once you've been in the industry, maybe even just 5 years, you have something valuable to give. And even if you haven't been in for 5 years, peer-to-peer mentoring is still, you know, a very good way of encouraging us to see different perspectives and stuff. So I would encourage anyone on this call to volunteer to be a mentor, because you will become a mentee as part of being a mentor. So we can balance the difference between mentors and mentees much better if we all volunteer to be mentors.
Thank you so much. And Sarah, I was popping on to ask you that exact question that you answered there at the end. You know, what should people do if they're maybe unsure about applying to be a mentor? So that's amazing. Really great insight from both of you. And I guess, would it be okay? We've had no questions through right now, but if anybody wants to send any questions through to info@womeninbim.org, then we can pass them maybe through to you guys for responses. Fantastic, excellent. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And hopefully you have a very successful and exciting remaining period of mentoring between the two of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So now what we are going to do is pass over to Ruth, who is not going to speak today, but she is still going to be the master of ceremonies for our quiz. I'm going to attempt to be the quiz master today, so please forgive me if I bumble along through this. It's not my forte, but it is a great quiz. I've seen the questions and it's super fun. And the best thing about this is for the winner of our quiz today, you will receive a £50 voucher to the donation to the charity of your choice. Could be absolutely anyone. Just let us know who it is. We'll make the donation and then we'll send you a receipt so that you can be sure that that has been made in your name to your chosen charity. So I don't know. So basically, anybody on the call right now, if you can go to menti.com and use the code 91060757, it's on the screen there. And what that will do is it will drop you into our quiz environment, and then we'll start the questions in a moment and we'll be able to see the live responses and see who is who's progressing and playing along with us. Excellent. I think all of those little icons are members who are joining, so that's great to see people dropping in. It'll give you a few more seconds to join. So that's menti.com and the code 91060757. Excellent. Just checking the chat and the questions. If anyone's got any issues logging in or struggling at all, just drop something in either of those two areas and we'll see if we can help you. Cool. Oh, we've still got a couple of people dropping in. That's excellent. I'm really liking these icons. They're very cute. Brilliant. So what we might do is kick off. So if you can enter for us, please, Ruth. And it should be relatively self-explanatory on Menti, but the question will come up. I will read it out loud and you will pick an answer and we'll be able to see live how people are progressing. So number one, Revit has been known by its current name since the year 2000. But what does the name Revit mean? Does it mean revolutionary information T-modeling? Does it mean revitalize construction? Does it mean revise it or revise instantly or Revere Information Technology. Oh, fantastic. So the majority of people actually got that one right. I have to say, I didn't know that myself. So well done to everybody who got that correct. And I must try harder myself to increase my Revit background knowledge. Excellent. So what's our next question, Ruth?
Sorry, just having momentary technical issues. Bear with me one sec.
That's all right. I'm just trying to see what the other responses were. Okay. I wonder how many of these were guesses in the correct answer column. I feel like I might have guessed that, even though I wouldn't have known for sure.
I did it as a process of elimination, I'll be honest.
Excellent.
Didn't know it stood for anything.
And you got it right, yeah?
Yeah, I got it right.
Ah, well done. Excellent.
Oh.
Bear with us 1 second. Come on, Mentimeter, you can do it.
All right, I'll go back on. I'll go back on.
Okay. Oh. I can see we've got 15 people playing along as well, which are good numbers. Oh, we are something's moving. This looks good. Okay. Come on, question 2. Yay, there we go.
Yeah, sorry, everyone.
That's all right. What does IFC stand for? Is it Intelligent Feature Charter, Industry Foundation Class, Inventory Fabricating, Canaliculations? That is cruel, Ruth. There's no way I could have said that out loud. And Information for Coordination. I actually know this one, so feeling quite pleased myself. Oh, there we go. I think the most sensible second answer was Information for Coordination as well, but well done to those 17 people who got it correct. And we will move on to question 3. Here we go. Who won the 2021 RIBA Gold Medal? I didn't even know that was a thing. Michael Riches, Neve Brown, Grafton Architects, or Sir David Ajay OBE? I wouldn't know this one either. I would be stumped. I'm going to be very impressed with whoever wins this quiz. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, there we go. So we had 4 people who got that right. Not sure if you knew or if it was a good guess, but well done nonetheless. And what's our next question, Ruth? Okay, number 4 of 10. Answer faster to get more points. What does GPS stand for? Aha, another one that I actually know. Global Positioning System, Greater Positioning Software, Global Placing Software, or Genius Placing System? Oh, everyone voted before time was up, and everybody said Global Positioning System, which was correct. It makes me feel slightly less smart. I thought that at least one person might get that wrong, but no, we're all correct on that one. And question 5 of 10. Which popular web mapping service was launched February 2005? Was it Open Geospatial Consortium, Google Maps, Web Map Service, or Maps with a Z? So which popular web mapping service was launched in February 2005? So 15 years ago? Wait, no, that's not right. My maths are terrible. And the answer was Google Maps. Yeah, and most people got that right as well. So well done. Oh, this is our leaderboard to date. Oh, Henry, you're there with the right answers and the quickest fingers, and that is what is putting you in the lead. Laura is close behind. Laura, I think that you can catch up.
Oh God, sorry. My inner gamer. I have to. I'm so competitive.
I love that you're so competitive. Excellent. Oh, Laura's put that she's going to try to catch up. Excellent. Come on, Laura. We believe in you. Question 6 of 10. Okay. Answer faster to get more points. What is the largest construction project currently underway in Europe? Is it Crossrail? Is it the Link Tower in Paris? Is it the Viaducts Mixed Use Community in Manchester? Or Märkisches Zentrum redevelopment in Berlin? Once again, sorry for my pronunciation and having to lean right into the screen to read those as well. I wouldn't know this one. I'd have an educated guess, I think. That would have been my guess as well. And it was correct. Well done, everybody who got that right. Fantastic. And question number 7. Who makes Archicad? Autodesk, Archdesk, Graphisoft, or Nemetschek Group? I think most people will get this one, but we'll see. Who makes Archicad? Autodesk, Archdesk, Graphisoft, or Nemetschek Group? I love that it doesn't quite give you long enough to Google either. Graphisoft, and that is correct. Well done. No one thought it was Nemetschek. Interesting. And question 8 of 10. Let's see. Which 19th century mathematician collaborated with Charles Babbage on his analytical engine and is now known as the first computer programmer? Is it Emmy Noether, Grace Hopper, Sophie Germain, or Ada Lovelace? This is a good one, actually. And it took all the time for people to answer as well. Let's see. Oh, pretty even answers, but it was Ada Lovelace. That would have been my guess. I felt like I knew the answer, but well done to everybody who got it right. Fantastic. So number 9, penultimate question. And we have got, in which year was Women in BIM founded? I do know the answer to this one. Was it 2010, 2011, 2012, or 2013? Any of our long-term community members might know this one, hopefully, especially if you've been with us from the very beginning, which I think a couple of you might have been. Interesting. Okay, anyone who said 2012 got that right. Same year as the London Olympics. And our last question, which I think, if I remember rightly, is a bit of a fun one. Which actress played Robin Scherbatsky in How I Met Your Mother? Sarah Chalke, Kobe Smulders, Kristin Milioti, or Alison Hannigan? There is a reason for this question as well. And it is Kobe Smulders, and the reason the question was in there was because when you Google Kobe, for a long time, she was the first search result that came up. Fantastic, excellent. And 10 people got that right, well done. Can we have a look at the results board? Oh. Well done, Henry. Now, Henry, are you there? Do you have an idea of a charity that you would like to donate the £50 to?
I usually give most of my charitable money to either Médecins Sans Frontières or Wikipedia. But I feel like I would like to make a specific charitable request with this, so I'd like to have a bit of a think about it, and I'd certainly take some any ideas from the chat of what would be a really super appropriate Women in BIM charity that you know, we could give this money to. But
maybe some suggestions. So Robin, who came second, or Laura, who was a close second at that halfway point, can provide some recommendations as well. Please let us know either in the chat or in the questions column, and I'll pass those on to Henry. Well done, Henry. Quick fingers, and I know how competitive you are, so I know how much that means to you as well.
I'm trying to pretend like I'm not, and like it doesn't.
I know you're not absolutely thrilled.
But I was really gutted. I got the Women in BIM Foundation date wrong. I put 2011.
Oh, well, I'm almost ready to strip your winning title away from you.
I'm gonna stop talking.
No, that's excellent. Well done, Henry. Fantastic. And let me see if I can now show my screen. Oh, there we go. Okay, for some reason it won't let me share my screen anymore. There we go. So what we found today is that no matter how good the tech should be in rehearsals, it will always go wrong in the real event, and therefore it's important to have human beings to be able to help manage that. I don't know if you guys can see my screen now. Yes, it looks like you can. Fantastic. And it does look like there are some hands raised. But I can't see who it is. So if you've got your hand raised, please drop a question into the questions area or the chat, and we'll do our best to answer them. But for now, what I will say is, oh, there we go. What's next for 2022 for Women in BIM? Well, we want to continue to grow throughout the core team. We want more Women in BIM regional leads, and we want more members, both in the UK and globally, because what we find is we are only as successful as the connections that we make and that we have, and the more people that are involved, whether they are direct members or whether they are allies, we find that power is in numbers. So if you're interested in becoming a regional lead, or if you don't know who the regional lead is for your area, please check the website and get in touch. Also, if you haven't registered on our website, please do so. It's completely free, gives you access to all of our recorded events, all of our podcasts, all of our shared information and articles that our wonderful members create and write. It also allows access to things like our Women in BIM forum, which at the moment we're still trying to build and create more conversation on there, and that will happen through more members. It's such a fantastic resource. Please do log in womeninbim.org and create your profile. We also want to execute more projects across all regions. We have projects in defining BIM roles at the moment and determining the pay and remuneration around those to help our members to understand where their role sits in comparison to other organisations, other regions, and to help them to understand pay brackets better. We have projects in ISO 19650 and the implication of that standard across different regions around the world, and the local annexes that are in play at the moment. And we have a project around education and getting BIM and digital construction into education, and how we get those in education more interested in BIM and digital construction as well, both boys and girls, but obviously with an emphasis on women and girls. And also, we want to hold more events across the world, virtually and eventually face-to-face and physically, to bring our members together. We find that our webinars are amazing. We're starting to branch out into new languages, which is phenomenal, and hopefully in 2022 we get the opportunity to see more of your lovely faces. So if you see our events organised, please do get involved, and if you don't see an event organised for your region, then get in touch with us and let us know how we might go about organising one in that area. We're always open to working with members, allies, everybody, to get more events going and to get our members speaking to each other. And finally, we are recruiting for a couple more members of our core team. We're looking for website development support and a social media and events manager. Both of these roles are voluntary. All of the roles in Women in BIM are voluntary, but they provide a huge amount of opportunity and visibility across the built environment and BIM in particular, and we will provide training and support to be able to deliver those roles as well. So the website development would just be somebody to help us make sure that our website is up to date, that it's giving all of the information that it should be, that things like our forum are working properly. It's not a massive commitment, but it is a commitment that we need. And social media and events manager would be somebody working with Costello Palmer, our communications partner, just to make sure that our messaging is clear, it's relevant, and that we're getting messages across in the form of social media posts and events in the right way. So if you're interested at all, please email us at womeninbim.org or visit the website, which is womeninbim.org/recruitment, and you can find more information on those roles there. Finally, thank you so much for attending today. We've run slightly over, and I do apologise for that, but thank you for bearing with us. I had a great time. If you would like to contact us at all, womeninbim.org is our website. We're Women in BIM on Twitter. We have a LinkedIn closed group, which you can find by searching for us. And we also have an organisation on LinkedIn that you can follow. And anything else, email info@womeninbim.org. Thanks again so much to Sarah and Finino for sharing their insights, to Dave and Henry for giving some fantastic presentations, and to Ruth, who hasn't got the credit that she deserves for putting together that amazing quiz, because I stepped in at the last minute and completely butchered it for her. But I think that it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. Well done to Henry as well for winning that quiz. Hopefully I will speak to you all again very soon. Thank you for joining us today. Any comments or questions that weren't answered, please email either vicky@womeninbim.org, VICKI, or info@womeninbim.org. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day, and hopefully see you all soon. Goodbye.